Good afternoon and good evening to you, ladies of magnificence, and all that are watching. Listen, I am so excited as always. It is your maximizing coach, Deshawn Antoinette Booker. And I'm so excited you have joined us for another Yummy Cafe. That's right. This show is phenomenal. As you know, I am the founder and CEO, or if you don't know, I'm the founder and CEO of Maximizing Your Magnificence. Now, you know what? I always say, because it's true, right, that I hold a space for women who are truly stepping into their power, women who are at a crossroads, who are wanting to get from where they are to where they desire to be. And that's true. But I want you to know something about that. I really see myself as the midwife for women who are powerhouse women so that they can do three things in their lives. I want these powerhouse women to do three things. Number one, to live with intention, to be intentional about the things in their lives, to live from a place of integrity so that they can manifest increase in their lives in both their professional and their personal life. I call it max out. Doesn't that sound awesome? That we get an opportunity to max out in every area of our lives. So that's simply what I do in Maximizing Your Magnificence. And I really truly work with women so that they are able to empower themselves through their gifts and to share those gifts with the world. Now, listen, if I'm being honest, one thing that I know for sure is your gift was not meant for you to hide or sit or keep to yourself. Our gifts are meant for us to be what I call in the mastery of contribution. And so that is what maximizing your magnificence is all about. It really is about how can we show up for ourselves, but how can we truly be able to share that with the world? You know, we have this thing. Now, listen, if this is true, let me know in the comments, right? This is a dialogue, by the way. It is not a monologue. We have a tendency to sit on what I call the island of isolation. Yeah, we do. We have been conditioned in such a way that we do everything by ourselves, right? That, we don't want people to know that we need assistance, that we need help, because then they're going to say, well, does he or she really know what they're doing? I thought they were the expert. It has nothing to do with really our credibility when we ask a question, right? Or if we are seeking assistance. And so I wanted to create this platform where women of power who have become entrepreneurs in their lives are in this place of collaboration, and we are also able to assist and support one another. Because so often we think that a woman got there some type of way overnight. We forget that there was a journey that she had to take. And so this platform is for all of us who are looking at every single woman and saying, how did she get there? How did she do that? I need to know those success steps so that I can go and put them into my own life, right? Well, I wanted to create a platform where I celebrated women entrepreneurs. I wanted to really have a backstage look, a peek into how did they really arrive to their magnificence? Because so often we see the end result and we forget about the journey, right? I wanted to have a platform that really celebrated women on their journey. I've always been so intrigued with women who said, I know what I want to do. I'm going to set out to accomplish this. And they did, even when the odds were against them. And we know as entrepreneurs, that's a pretty hard and challenging path to stay on. It truly is. I keep saying, as a young girl, I was so excited about women in the magazines who were featured in the business section. I was just so excited to hear their stories. I would read their articles. I mean, listen, I flipped through the pages for hours. I really did. I would tear out their photos and put them, up against my wall to make this beautiful mirage of wallpaper of women who were out just doing what they knew God had given them to do. And so I would read their stories and I would just allow their stories to just really, sink into the depths of my soul. And I was drawn to the women in these magazines and in these articles. I was drawn to their drive and their determination, their fierceness, right? Their smarts and their sophistication. I was just drawn to their ability to say yes to what they knew they wanted to do. And I believe it was at that time that the seed was planted in me to say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to become an entrepreneur as well. I probably at the time didn't know what that looked like or how it showed up, but I knew that I wanted to impact and make an impact on the world the way these women were doing for me in the magazines and these articles. Now, I'm going to say this. Becoming an entrepreneur is not as glamorous as I thought. Listen, I saw the glamour, I saw the photo shoots, I saw the products, I saw the services, I saw the networking, and yes, I saw the wealth. And I said they were happy and they were moving in their passion and their purpose. But there are what we call pain points along the way. And so I wanted to also talk to women entrepreneurs, or how did they become these phenomenal women in business, and how did they, be able to overcome all of the pain points in their lives? Because if you ask me, if I'm being honest, I was going to throw in the towel several times. Deshaun, yeah, that's me. I was going to say, I can't do this. This is looking like it's just too much, right? There's too much competition out there. Do I have the resources? Do I even believe in myself? These are questions that phenomenal women who are entrepreneurs have asked themselves. And we've had to say no when we know that it isn't our truth. And how do we do that? So I'm holding a space today for a phenomenal woman. And I'm holding that space where she can come and she's going to give you all of her nuggets, all of her diamonds for your destiny, so that you can rise up and say, I got some more for my toolbox. I got it, Deshaun. I see what's happening. It's just called collaboration. And so that's what this space is here for. When we're talking about the Yummy Cafe, the YUM-ME, and that is your unlimited magnificence. And it equals you and me. How can we begin to thrive in that space, right? And so we're going to hear from her, and I'm going to give you some background on her right now. So before we get started, make sure you go and get your saucer and your cup, and you are going to sit at this virtual table, and you're going to have your savory success tips just for you. Our wonderful woman today that we are speaking to, our wonderful, extraordinary, phenomenal woman entrepreneur, Miss Tiffany D. Jones, is the founder and creative visionary of two amazing brands, the What Rule Do You Live By book series, and the I Rule My Life online store. What rule do you live by is the thought-provoking question that starts the conversation about the rules we live by and why they're important elements of everyday life. The first edition of her book is available now. Additionally, the I Rule My Life brand serves as the universal affirmation of the rules we live by and celebrate life to its absolute fullest. This is so yummy. Tiffany has also previously hosted the FM radio talk show, also titled What Rule Do You Live By?, where she featured individuals sharing engaging stories, the rules by. Tiffany shares her message with the masses on how to create the rule you live by for your life. She is a sought out and after by many corporate organizations and youth programs, as her message helps to build self-esteem and confidence within young girls and women. Rule Your Life message teaches women and men of all ages to create the life they want by maintaining certain standards of rules to assist with keeping on track in all assets and areas of your life. Tiffany believes that when we stick to the rules we create for our life, we are never in a position to compromise ourselves and make poor decisions. Ooh, good, yummy information here. We have thus empowered our minds to be in control of every area of our lives that matters. With over 22 years in a career of various levels of merchandising, she has been successful in the fields of retail, fashion, procurement, supply chain, and interior design. Tiffany has used the knowledge learned over the years to design a thriving online store of products that consumers can customize and print the rule they live by. She also believes this that the events in our life no, they don't happen to you. The events in our life happen for you so you can wake up and show up for your life. Whoo, I'm so excited to bring her into the room right now and on the stage. Listen, what rule do you live by? No need to wait any further. I am bringing Miss Tiffany D, that's right, Jones, to the platform right now. Hello, hello, Miss Tiffany.
Hi, Deshaun.
How are you, beautiful?
I'm wonderful. I'm like, look, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you. And I'm like, my goodness, is all of that in there?
That's you, Tiffany. Listen, that's you, right? Isn't it amazing how we hear someone else say all of the things we've done? Because sometimes we just take for granted that we're in our purpose, right?
That is so true. That is so true. And I'm listening to you, read that. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
Listen, phenomenal. Yeah, this is you. And listen, I appreciate it. I appreciate all that you have done within your journey and that you're now here to share with those, who are listening and also listening to the replay. If you're listening to the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay, put your comments in. I'm always going to come and, serve you and supporting your comments, your questions. It doesn't get unseen and unanswered. So make sure you do that. Yes. So want to make sure our audience know that. But Tiffany, you're phenomenal. Listen, this is it. This is who you are.
well, thank you so very much for all of that. I'm so happy, excited, thrilled to be here. As we were discussing before, I love this type of engagement. It is so much fun. When I had my radio show, also titled "What Rules Do You Live By?" I never before I did that. And it was the first time I had a talk show ever. I did not realize how absolutely fun and just exciting and engaging it was. It was the most fun I had in any of my endeavors. So I'm truly excited to be here. I love this platform.
Yes, I do too. And I'm excited because I get to learn from, women, who are really thriving in the business and who have those nuggets to share because it isn't just about what we know ourselves, but it really is about, our networking, our collaboration, and really having that women power, show up for us and say, okay,
Yeah.
what I have to offer I may have missed it along the way, right?
Right.
I
Yes.
may not have seen it the way that you've seen it. And so all of our journeys are different. All of our paths are different. And, I don't know if this has happened with you in your coaching and consulting, as you've been empowering women all of these years, sometimes women think that their stories isn't enough. They think that their journey, because it doesn't sound like someone else's, they say to me, my clients, well, maybe I don't have a story, Deshaun, or maybe I don't have a service or a product because they're looking at someone else's story and
Yeah.
someone else's path, right?
Yeah.
Journey.
Hmm.
And so I say, no, it isn't true. And that's why I love this platform because the
Yeah.
women that I have these, the chats with, I'm like, all of our journeys have been different to bring us to where we are, right? Do
Right.
you agree with that?
Absolutely. And every life has a story to tell. Every life has a story to tell, and in every story there are these lessons learned that we grow from, that we learn from, and that we mature from. And so we oftentimes may not realize it, but we all have a story. We all have a story,
Yeah.
and it may not be something that is rosy and cheery. Some of those stories are they're they're dirty. They're not
Oh,
they're
yes.
not they're not sunshine and unicorns, but that's the story,
That's the
right?
story.
And that's the platform that we stand on. That's the platform that we grew from. That's the platform that now holds us up in this mindset of integrity and courage. And so we may not realize it now, but our stories are what drive us. Our
Mm,
stories are what motivate us.
yes.
And again, it may not be pretty, but it's the one that moves you. It's the one
That's
that drives you.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely, I love it. It may not be pretty, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks in my messaging, because a lot of times, just recently, I had a client, and she was, having a stuck moment and
Hmm.
believing that, well, it doesn't look as perfect for me in terms of her life, and it is perfect, and she's like, well, should I celebrate my milestones even though I'm still growing? Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, right. And we've gotten to this place, that's our default button, is that we think we should go to, what's perfect, and am I ready? Have I crossed all my T's? Have I dotted all my I's? Do I know all the answers? No. And we have to remember that we're having a human experience, and that
Hmm.
people want to relate to other humans, right? If we
Sure.
show up, Tiffany, right, and we've just said, this is what we did and it was perfect and it was easy, well, who wants to follow someone like that? Who wants
Yeah.
to say, because this is like, well, if she didn't have any issues, any barriers, she didn't have any detours, I'm not sure if I want to go that perfect
Yeah.
route.
Yeah. That's not my testimony.
That's not my testimony either. Right. You know, even though I thought in my head years ago, I said, okay, well, maybe it's going to be a little perfect because have a formula. No, Deshaun, absolutely not. It's not, but I do know what I'm looking for. It may not be perfection, but it really is persistence.
Sure. Hmm.
Yeah. And having that spirit of excellence along the way. And so, listen, we're going to jump right into this
Okay.
juicy conversation with you, because I know that the people are listening and waiting. And again, this platform, I move it through what I call movements. And so I love movements because it keeps us going, it keeps us in flow. And so I have three movement, questions that I actually create this awesome creative energy around that we're having, so that our movements are flowing. So our first movement question
Okay.
for the awesome Miss Tiffany is, what was your inception moment? And what I mean by that is, when did Tiffany know that her dream, her vision, your purpose, passion, hobby was what you were called to do? What did that look like for you in the inception moment? And I ask this question because
Hmm.
oftentimes women believe that they're supposed to get the whole enchilada, right? Like,
Yeah.
God's gonna just give you it all at one point, at one time. He's gonna just download everything. Listen, I have a testimony that did not happen for me. He
Hmm.
gave me a little bit at a time, and when I'm assuming, right, ready for the next step, I got my next marching orders. I got the next step. And so, but that inception moment is a little different.
Yeah.
It's that in your belly, right? So how did that show up for you? What did that look like?
It was a very roundabout way. I wasn't I've been in my profession, my well, let's just say corporate world, for gosh, 25 to 30 years, and in
Mhm.
my current profession for 17 years. So
Wow.
and to this day, I'm still very happy with it. I love what I do. And so I wasn't looking to be an entrepreneur. I wasn't looking to be a writer. I wasn't looking to do any of this. I was quite content with the career that I had built. And so one day I was at home, and a friend of mine's children were over to my house. And we were upstairs in my bedroom, and we were having a pillow fight. And so one of the kids goes into the room and she fills her hands with water, and she, in a very playful mood, she comes back into the room and she starts to sprinkle water everywhere. Okay, fine, all fine. And so her little brother sees her do this, and he goes into the bathroom and he fills both his hands with water,
Oh
and he's
no.
about to throw that water on my hair. And out of nowhere, Deshaun, I said, EJ, rule number 75, never get a Black woman's hair wet. And so we
Right.
went on with our pillow fight, just having a good time.
Oh,
And it was either the next day or the day after that this thought just came to me that said, what about a rule book?
wow.
What
Wow. I
about
love it.
and initially, the title of the book was called The Black Woman's Rule Book. What rule do you live by?
Okay.
And so as it evolved, I dropped the title, Black Woman's Rule Book, and then the subtitle became the title, which is just now, What Rule Do You Live By?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the reason, Deshaun, that I knew that this is something that I was supposed to do,
Okay.
very recently, around that time, I
Mm.
had come to know about inspired thought and
Mm.
inspired action.
Yes.
And I had come to know that when these thoughts and ideas, when they come to you,
Yes.
and they kind of stick with you, and they just give you this kind of like this moment of like, wow,
Yeah.
those are the things that you are supposed to act upon.
Yes. Yes.
And just luckily, just a very short time prior to this receiving this idea is when I had learned about inspired thoughts. So when the
Mm.
idea for the book came to me, I knew that I was supposed to act on it.
Okay. Okay.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
I was supposed to act on it, and I took off with it. Um at the time, so this was an original idea, right? And so my book, What Rule Do You Live By? It's a compilation book. And obviously the most popular compilation books out there are Chicken Soup for the
Yes.
Soul.
Yes.
I had never read a Chicken Soup for the Soul. Honestly, I don't even think I really was even familiar with the chain. And I say that because for the fact of this truly was an original thought for me. Like,
Mm.
my thought was to interview women and get the rules that they live by, and create a book from that. And so little did I know that's actually called a compilation book.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And so that's what I was unknowingly creating. And then just as I did
Awesome.
my research and did my work,
Yeah.
and just collecting stories and interviewing ladies over time, like yourself,
Yes.
um, realizing that okay, this is actually something that people do quite often. And so when I came to that realization, I had to figure out how to differentiate the book from other compilation books, because I thought that the title was already catchy. What rule
Yeah.
do you live by? We
Yeah.
all have them. We just may not call it a rule.
Mm-hmm.
We may call it a discipline, a motto, just anything other than rule. And so for the purposes of my book, I call them rules.
Yes.
And so it was just this moment of just going through and just interviewing and then finding these individuals, and not just women, there's men in the book as well,
Mhm.
that had these amazing stories to tell. And the way that I differentiated it was I wanted it to be interactive.
Okay.
And so I added a workbook at the end of the book, so that if you did not have a rule that you lived by, then the book would now take you through the steps of creating one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Yes. I love that.
And so one of the rules that I live by is I surround myself with great people.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
surround myself with great people. I'm not one for the drama. I'm not one for the chatty, for the kiki, for the the spilling the tea. I don't want.
Right, right,
Keep it all.
right.
Keep it.
Yeah, right, right. Listen, I want to go back to the inception. Oh my goodness. What I'm really being clear to, right, is
Hmm.
that what if you did know about, compilation books? What if you knew about chicken soup for the soul, chicken soup for the whole series, right?
Yeah.
What if you knew about that? How intimidating, right? How would that have been a
Yeah.
natural way
Yeah.
of saying no to
No.
right,
No.
right? Wait a
No.
second. I know about that already. I'm not going to do it. But what God does, which is so
Hmm.
phenomenal, He gets us in our infant stages where we're pure,
Yeah.
right? Where you're naive to all
Hmm.
of it, and you have no clue. You're like, this is cool. Right, this
Right.
is
Yeah.
great. I'm going to jump into this, uncharted water, and I think it's okay because, as you said, it's an inspired thought. But
Hmm.
it was really your take on it. It was what he was implanting in you to do in your own unique fashion. And
Absolutely.
right, and it's just
Absolutely.
it's the pureness of that, all the innocence.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I've never quite thought of it that way. That had I known, about the other compilation books that were out there, that would have been intimidating to me. And I would have been like, no, I can't compete
I
with
can't do
this.
that.
Like, I
Right,
can't do that. No. Like
right,
it would have stopped me in my tracks. And the thought that came into my mind of writing a book would have been like, it would have come in and would have gone away.
right.
Yeah.
So Tiffany, what was the next step for you? So now you have the clarity. Now you're believing. You have your process in place, right? What did you do to begin to, say, okay, I need to connect with the contributors?
Yes. Yes. So I around that same time, this was a time where I was going through a divorce, and so that time, for men and women can be very it can be a moment in your life that is very telling one way or the other. What path am I going to go? What direction am I going to go? What am I going to do with the next chapter of my life? Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, something that I really dove into was personal development.
Okay.
I dove into personal development. And as I did that, so two things at the same time. I dove into personal development and I started traveling abroad. I had never traveled abroad
Okay.
prior to the age of 40. So I was just turning 40, and I had come to know this young lady in a personal development group, and she was young, Deshaun.
Mm,
She was only
mm.
like 26, 27 at the
Yeah,
time. And
yeah.
then looking through her Facebook photos, this girl had been to Israel and Turkey, and not just the normal touristy place. She went to Israel,
Yeah,
by
yeah.
herself, mind you,
Yes,
by
yes.
herself. And so I was talking to her, and I'm like, Swa, that's my nickname for her. And Swa, I'm like, I have never done this. She's like, Tiffany, you just have to do it. You just have to
Yeah,
go. But
yeah.
like I was intimidated. I don't want to go by myself. This, that, and the other. And I'm telling you, Deshaun, I started looking for travel groups. I found a travel group, and my first trip abroad was to Italy.
Okay.
By myself. I met amazing women who are
Yes,
some of my
yes,
best friends to this
yes,
day.
yes, yes.
And so there were two things that happened along the
Okay.
same at the same time: traveling abroad and personal development. So as I went to the personal development courses, that's where I started to meet people like you,
I love
and
it.
and empowering women, motivating, encouraging,
Yes.
and just in this next chapter, this this
Mm,
this 40 chapter of my life, was totally different from my 30s. And so
Yeah.
in my 40s, I'm engaging with travel, I'm engaging with personal development. I'm now divorced, and so my mindset of is just totally different in what I want for my life and
Mm,
such. And
mm,
so and
mm.
so that's where I met a lot of you.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. I love that story, that you said, well, why am I waiting when the world is here at my fingertips? And there was
Mhm.
this, example right in front of you. And again, for those of us that are tuned in or watching the replay, it doesn't always have to just strictly be mapped out, right? Tiffany, it
Right.
doesn't have to just, be in alignment. And we think that so often that we have to make everything fit. If you have that inkling in your spirit and you're believing that you're supposed to be moving in certain directions, sit on
Mhm.
that, meditate with that, right? Don't toss it away because you can't see the next step.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't show up for us in our lives that's already planned out, that has the beginning and the ending right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
That's the faith part. That is saying, okay, I'm going to be okay if I sit
Mhm.
quietly, if I dwell in this space. And you had to decide what was the next chapter of your life going to look like.
Right. And I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but this is where and we'll come back to this, but this is where the rule of my life part really came into play for me. Little did I know at that time I was starting to rule my life.
Ooh, that's good stuff. Yummy,
So
yummy,
we'll come back to
yummy.
that. We'll come back to that. But
Okay,
but I
okay.
didn't know it at the time, but I was starting to rule my life.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we can stay right in this space. Next movement question. That is good stuff. Wait, okay. How long were you in Italy? I need to know that.
um it was about 2 weeks. It was about 2 weeks
Wow.
visiting Rome and Florence and
Nice.
Pompeii, Naples, Sorrento, Capri, yeah, Venice.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And then, once we're bit by that bug, it's like, I got to keep traveling. I have to keep seeing what's there.
And I kept going. I
Yeah.
kept
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, I just sit and bask in that moment of your self revelation, and awareness. That is so powerful.
you know,
Yummy stuff. Yummy
it's
stuff.
something. It's just something else that taught me was that, or something that I realized is that when I have the courage
Mm,
to step
yes.
out and do things by myself
Yes.
without waiting for someone to come with me or waiting for the company of someone else, that's when my greatest moments happened.
Mm, that's
Because
powerful.
being by myself forced me to, I'm an introvert.
Yeah. Okay.
I am. I'm an
Okay.
introvert. I admit that. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. Took me a long time to be able to say that, but I am.
Good. I love it. I love it. That's powerful.
I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And so, when I go to, maybe a networking event, but, and I'll go by myself,
Yeah.
I've put myself in a situation to where I need to talk to people and engage with people. And if I were to, just lean on the crutch of always taking someone along with me, then that's the person that I'm going to be talking to the
Yeah.
entire
The whole
time. And so if there's nobody there with me, I have to engage with you. I have to
time.
genuinely get to know you, which is what I want to do.
Okay.
And so I learned, I taught myself something in that, don't be afraid to do it alone.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Listen, viewers, make sure you're writing all of these juicy nuggets down. These are diamonds for your destiny and pearls of wisdom. Write them down. I love it. Tiffany, this is so good. Okay. I love that story. So you're there, you're starting to, put things in places for yourself. So then we want to look at, what were some hurdles? What was your hurdle moment? And what I mean by this, and it could be moments, is what mental and emotional hurdles did you have to jump, right? And how did you do that? So you began to create She Rules, right? LLC and the Tiffany Jones Group, right? What were some of those breakdowns during your time of creating and starting your business? How did those detours and those, breakdowns look like to you? The shifts, you had to pivot. How did you decide that, okay, I'm still going to overcome this because you've already decided it was, you had the inception moment, but how did you, really handle the hurdle moments in your life?
Yeah, I mean, and there were several, and there were several, and I'll touch on a few for sure.
Okay.
Um, the first one was, just being very new to the entrepreneurial world
Mm-hmm.
and engaging with the programs or the coaches that were, supposed to do this and do that, and so that a lot of that was just a waste of time and money, a
Okay.
waste of time and money. And so I would say to someone who is starting out is to um befriend someone who's already on this journey,
Yeah.
and reach out to them, and just ask for a moment of their time,
Yeah.
because what you want to learn from that individual is um who are the coaches that they work with,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
are the programs that they are engaged with, and just taking time to find that person will save you, weeks and months and years of time and money, in assisting you to get on the right path very early.
Yeah.
So just find and shadow a person who is already in the business or the line of work that you are
Mm.
engaging to do. So that was a big hurdle for me, and just navigating my way through this entrepreneurial world that I truly didn't know anything about. And I tell you, when I say I wasted a lot of time and money, I wasted a lot of time and a
Yeah.
lot of money.
That happens a lot. That happens because, again, I want you to keep going, but because we believe we have to do it on our own.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't. We
No.
absolutely don't. And there's so many services out there now
Yes.
to
Yes.
you can pay very little to have really great professional work done. And I just took a
Mm.
very long time to discover all of that. I'm
Yeah.
I'm on a very good path now, finally.
Yes. Yes. That's okay. Right. It happens. Yeah.
But
Yes.
I had to crawl my way. I had to crawl my way through there. And so another hurdle for me is actually one that's very personal, in that I don't think Deshaun, I don't think I've ever mentioned this on any platform ever before. But for years, um, at least over a decade, well over a decade, I've had to manage my depression.
Mm. Okay.
And when it was first diagnosed, in my early to mid 30s, it was,
Mm-hmm.
went to see a psychiatrist, and they prescribed medication, and to me, they were just throwing
Right.
medicine at it, and
Right.
and for me, that wasn't the way,
Right.
because I felt worse on the medication than I did, without it. So what I did was, between me and God, I was like, we're going to work this out.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to work this out. And so I had to come to know what my triggers of depression were,
Yes.
and how to stay away from those triggers. That's
Yeah.
why the rule that I live by is I surround myself with great
Mm.
people. I
Mm.
don't, anyone who might be a trigger for that, bye bye.
Yes. 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 That's right.
Bye bye. And so I keep a very sunny, very positive
Mm. I
disposition
love
about
that.
myself every single
Yes.
day. But some days are hard, because some days I don't feel like
Right.
Again, I love my work and I thrive at my work, my day job, my career. And during the evening is when I have to find the time to work my business, my
Okay. Yeah.
entrepreneurial business. So
Mm-hmm.
when I get home in the evening, sometimes I'm extraordinarily tired and I just don't feel like
Feel
it.
like yes.
I
Yes.
don't. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
I sometimes fall out of motivation.
Yes. Yes. Speak on it. Speak
I
the truth.
I
Yes.
fall out. I fall out of it.
Yes.
I don't fall out of love with my brand because I love my brand.
Yes.
And when other people see it, they remind me how much they love it too.
Oh, I love that. I
And
love that.
so I don't fall out of love. I fall out of that lack of motivation
Yes. That's
to keep
real.
going,
Mm-hmm.
as strongly as I need to. And the thing that I have realized is that, when I'm working the business is working. When I'm not
Yes.
working the
Right.
business ain't working.
Right. Right.
It is
It
not
is
on
not.
automatic, not
That's
yet.
true. Yes. 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 Oh, this is good stuff. This is good
It's
stuff, Tiffany. Keep
it's
going. Keep
not on
going.
automatic. And
Yes.
so and so knowing that about me, that I manage my depression, and I've had to manage it, myself without medication, because
Mm,
I realized that just really isn't it. That's not for me. It just
that's
absolutely is
powerful.
not.
Yes.
um I find my ways to stay on track,
Okay.
and to I give myself certain days of the week to where I'm going to do business, and or work my business. And then I give myself those days where I don't do anything. I
Yes.
give myself
Yes.
that self-care, that
Yes.
self-rest.
Yes.
And I may stay here in this house, all day long. And
Yes.
hey, that's good with me. Those are my
Yes.
favorite.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I agree. Absolutely. I want to jump in. I'm so grateful to your trusting this space, because this is a safe space. And I hear you when you said, and I'm honored that you said, this is the first time that you were, going to speak to to the depression as, what you have had to, recognize, number one, and then manage.
Hmm.
And I manage anxiety every single day, and I'm very open about it. I've often told my college students, because a lot of college students are dealing with
Yeah.
mental issues and concerns, and health issues in that area, and I as well. And so I'm so grateful that you are letting those of our listeners know that we're human and things are real. Again, going back to wanting to have this facade of being perfect.
Yeah.
And if I say that I'm having some things that I manage outside of that perfection box, what will people say? How
Yeah.
will they see me? Will I
Yeah.
continue to be recognized as an expert in my field? Will
Yeah.
they want my product? Will they want my services? Right? We begin to question ourselves. And again, it's about being fully human and having a full human experience. And so it is such an honor to hear that that is what you had to manage and still manage, because it allows us to see your story from such a human experience, that there's a connection there. And that's why I asked the question, what were some of the hurdles, and still are, because those hurdles are allowing us to move forward and to allow us to see that I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect. I'm going to manage everything around me so that I'm still moving towards process. I'm still moving towards the goal. And another thing that you said that is so empowering is knowing the triggers.
Hmm.
Mm, yes, knowing the triggers. And that's what anything, we're dealing with anger management, right? If you have anger issues, if you have, like I said, myself, anxiety, depression, if you're feeling, we all know the imposter syndrome, when it's telling you that you're not going to, you don't know what you're doing and people are going to
Hmm.
figure you out.
Yeah.
You've had a loss of a loved one, right? You've lost a job, a relationship, a marriage, a child. How
Sure.
do we manage those things and still move in process and
Yeah.
still move in purpose? It is something that is possible,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And and the hurdles, they never go away.
Right.
They never go away. Once we're always going to encounter them. And
Yes.
so we just have to have the mindset, and that's another hurdle.
Yes. Talk about that. I talk about that's it. Mindset, right? That's
you know,
another hurdle. Ooh, that mindset is something else, isn't it?
it's amazing. Oh my goodness.
Wait, well, I'm gonna jump in here, Tiffany, because I want to bring this into when you said mindset, and we're gonna go to our next one.
Okay.
Those of you that are with us, thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay and always put your comments, and I'll come back in to answer those comments and have that dialogue with you as well. You, Tiffany has a phenomenal backstory. Like she comes from a very large family, right?
Mhm.
12 aunts, three uncles. And I think is that on your mom's side? On your dad's side, there were two brothers and nine sisters. And I
Yeah.
mean, she has this beautiful story of her support, how they
Yeah.
really empowered you. One of your aunts, I'm trying to find it, talked about mindset and being able to giving you great advice. I know Aunt Cheryl said that,
I'm
right?
sure.
But
Yes.
there was another aunt, the self-confidence. Yeah, Aunt Dorothy.
Darth.
My gosh. And then Aunt Faye talked about amazing spirit. She has an amazing spirit. Tell us
Mhm.
a little bit about your aunts and how they helped shape your mindset.
Yeah. So like you said, I grew up with a huge family. So my father is one of 12, and my mother is one of five. So between the two of them, I had nine blood
Mm,
aunts. Not We're not talking about the married aunts, blood aunts,
yeah.
and three uncles.
They were fitting. They
So
fit in
obviously
there.
the women dominated in my family.
That's
And
good.
and growing up, I just admired them so much. And just they were always pouring into me, Deshaun.
Mm,
They were
mm,
without either knowingly or unknowingly, or just by habit or what have you. They were always teaching me, molding me, shaping me, pouring into me at all times.
mm.
And I always remembered that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love spending time with each and every one of them, and it was just always fun. It was always a joy, and I
Yeah.
just I just always had somewhere to go.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
always had
Yes.
somebody's house to go to,
Right. Right. I
know?
love it. I love it.
And so as a single woman without children, I'm an auntie.
Yes.
And so I absolutely pray that I am the aunt to my nieces and nephews that my aunties were to me.
Yeah.
And um luckily I still have quite a few of them, around with me today. A
Right.
few of them of course have passed on. But I still have quite a few of them, and that spirit, that energy
Yeah.
is still there and alive. And I just spent this past weekend, my immediate families, my parents who are still married, and my siblings and aunts and
Mm.
and my nieces and nephews, we all took a trip to Orlando together. And one of those aunts was with us, and to have her and my mom together is just a hoot.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure. I'm
Oh,
sure.
it's an absolute hoot. It was so funny.
I
So
love it.
yeah, so it's just that fullness of family is something that
Yeah.
I've always had, and
Yeah.
they've taught me throughout the years, and I'm just happy to be an auntie who can pass that knowledge and that
Yeah.
wisdom on.
That's good. That's good stuff. Yummy stuff. Okay. Our next movement question here, right? We're now, what was your worthy moment? And what I mean by that is, when did Tiffany know that Tiffany's life was worth living in her purpose, right? You had your inception moment. Those hurdles came trying to divert you and stop you in your tracks, right? And that negative Nancy gets in our head and the chatter saying, no, you can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. Just sit down somewhere. No one wants what you have. And, you're questioning yourself. You're questioning God. When did the worthy moment show up where you knew that this was non-negotiable, where you knew that it was what I call your oxygen?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say, this is your oxygen. Like you have to do this to live. When and how did that show up for you when you were birthing, Rule My Life messages and, the book series and your products and the radio show? When did you know it was your worthy moment? Like this is it's worthy of me.
You know, a couple of times. So two really. So one of them, strangely enough, was um, when I would have. I've always been a relationship person. Always been in a relationship,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when those relationships would end,
Hmm.
I would find myself in this moment of just questioning myself, questioning what I was doing, what I was doing. Was it the right thing? Am I on the right path? This, that, and the other. And what those moments
Hmm.
ultimately taught me was how and it grew. Every time a breakup would happen.
Yeah. Why not grow from it, right?
Exactly. We learn from them.
Yeah.
Is that the love that I was giving to this other person,
Mm.
Tiffany, you have to give that to you first.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
have to give that to you first. You have to be worthy first. And
Yeah.
so those moments were very empowering for me.
Mm.
And I would get on this rampage of just the Energizer Bunny. And I'm being productive. I mean, some of my best moments were after those breakups,
The
because
breakups. Yeah.
I had to realign.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
I
had to
like
get
that.
in
Yes,
alignment.
I like
Yep.
that.
I had to get in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing, with what I
Yes.
know I was intended to do, and these gifts that
Mm-hmm.
have been given to me. The gift of what rule do you live by? The gift
Yeah.
of I rule my life. These are gifts, and
Yeah.
I am worthy of those gifts, and I need to make these gifts manifest into what they are supposed to be.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so those were my moments of when I had to remind
Mm.
myself that I'm worthy, and remind myself of the gifts and the responsibility of these gifts that have been given to me. And so the other moments of feeling worthy um, is when I would see, and these are more moments of worthiness, but also reminders,
Yeah.
is when I would see certain things come across that I would look at them as almost nudges or
Uh,
signals or signs or
yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
I might see a commercial, and it mentions the word, something along the lines of, ruling your life. And I might read it in a book, or I'll see
Mhm.
it somewhere.
Mhm. I love that.
I'll
I
see
love
it.
that.
And
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
Tiffany, it was always a reminder to Sean, you're on the right path.
Like that.
You're
Yes.
on the right path. You're on
Yes.
the right track. Just keep going.
Yes.
Just keep going. And
Mm.
you'll get there. And it's going to be wonderful and magnificent and empowering.
Yes.
So those, and every time I would see it, I'm like, okay, I got it. I see it.
Yes.
I see it.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm there.
Mm. I just want to add something to that. This is so juicy. It's so yummy. I love the reminders.
Hmm.
Um, it's the way that God will just speak to. We're always looking for signs or want to hear this big audible sound and voice, but
Hmm.
He will speak as gentle to us in expressions of anything throughout the day, right? Or
Right.
you're watching something on television. Listen, I have been sitting watching reality TV show.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
God just sent a whole message through the reality TV. I'm like, really not. Here I am with
Absolutely.
love and hip hop, right? And I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I'm thinking I'm having an escape. I'm escaping, reality right now. And here's this reminder that pops up. And I'm
Mhm.
going, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and I would always, my conversations with God, I would always tell him, I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't always hear you so
Mm,
well. When you speak, I don't always hear you. So
yes.
you have to show me.
Yes.
You have to show me.
Mm,
And so he would show me.
yes.
He would show me.
I love that you were present to that you were
Mhm.
clear on, okay, this is my time to hear this, to see this, and apply this to my journey and where I'm moving forward towards. You didn't ignore it,
Yeah.
you weren't uncertain about it. That was that certainty. And we all look for certainty.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's what really we want. We want the certainty of it all. None of us want to fail. None of us want to be rejected,
Yeah.
right? None of us. And so, once you've done all of this, Tiffany, you now have this phenomenal product, right? You now have this phenomenal services that you're offering to the world. And it's just an honor to see and to hear how you knew exactly what was planted back when the little boy was about to do with the water, honey. He's like, okay, I'm just going, put this out. You're like, here's the rule, right? And then from that moment, you're like, there are several rules to life,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it began to shape itself as what rules are you living by?
Yeah.
Then it was an extension of what rules do others live by so that we can begin to shape our lives the way that we can co-design that with God. And we know that these are my hopes and dreams if I have rules to sustain those, if I have that
Absolutely.
infrastructure, yeah,
Sure.
then I can
Mhm.
build from that. I can continue to build and grow. So as we get to we're almost at an end. I don't like that we're almost at an end. This is too
Oh,
heavy for me. Your three journey words. Today, our show topic is rule, obviously, my life.
no.
I
Mhm.
want to hear everything about how has that shaped up for you? What does that mean to you? What did it look like, on your journey? And how important are these, rule my life is to Tiffany?
I mean, to okay, so to say rule my life, you are displaying your passion, your craft, whatever it is that brings you joy, whatever it is that makes you happy. You are ruling your life in it. One of my favorite pastimes is travel. I rule my life with travel.
Mhm.
And so when you say rule your life, you truly are creating the pages and the chapters of your life. You
Nice.
are you are displaying your passion. You are displaying exactly what it is that you want to do,
Yeah.
exactly how you want to do it. You are ruling your life in the manner that you choose to live it each and every single
Mm,
day. And
mm,
so we can rule our life. And I like to tie a category or a passion to it. Like I said, my passion is travel. So I love to say I rule my life with travel.
yes.
Someone might say I rule my life with prayer. I rule
Mm,
my life with gratitude.
yes.
I rule my life with love. I got some written up on my wall,
Yes.
my
Yes.
wall of inspiration there.
Yes.
And
That's right.
so
That's
whatever
right.
that thing is that inspires you, that
Yes.
motivates you, that's how you rule your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read mine very quickly because
Yay!
I was he asked me to be a contributor to this phenomenal book. Oh my God. It's just awesome. It's so
Yay!
inspirational. I keep it in my bedroom right next to my bed.
Yeah.
And I'm always reading the other, contributors' stories because it is so powerful, right? So, so meaningful. And so let's see. I'm just gonna go to, and I love your message to me. I used to know my page by heart. I think it's let's see, okay, 25.
There
Yes.
you
Okay.
go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to just say, my rule that I said that I still do live by, right? The rule I live by is the initial impact of an unexpected incident adds more drama than what it really is. So my rule to live by is regroup, assess, and bounce back. Of course, I didn't read the story, but that is my rule. I love it. So,
Yeah.
Tiffany, before we get into your programs and your services, what are some of your other rules that you live by?
Oh man, the I surrounded myself with great people. That's
I love
it's
that.
truly that's my main one. That's my
Yeah.
main one, and just um standing on the foundation of ruling my life and living my life how I choose
Hmm.
to live it. I'm an avid traveler. Live my life by love and kindness and gratitude. I stand in gratitude each and every
Mm.
single day for the
Yes.
blessings that are bestowed upon me. I know
Yes.
from whom all my blessings flow.
That's right.
And just living this life knowing that I do and achieve nothing on my own, but
Mm.
all things by God's grace, His mercy, His favor
Yeah.
upon me. And
Yes.
just with that foundation,
Mm.
I've created a not a perfect. I've created what I feel for myself is a beautiful life.
I
One
love
that I love, one that I
it.
enjoy, one that brings me peace and tranquility and adventure and excitement.
Yeah.
And family and so I'm living the life of my brand and ruling my life with the things that
Mm.
truly bring me joy.
Oh, this is so yummy. This is so yummy. So, okay, all right. So I already showed, but show the book again. Show your other products that you have. Where can they get your products? I'm gonna put up all of their information, but I want her
Yeah.
to show her products first. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
yes.
So here is the book, titled "What Rule Do You Live By?"
And
Inspiring
honey, wait
story.
a minute. She is fabulous on this cover, honey. Show that again. I mean, listen, if you fabulosity, baby, okay, happening all over. Yes, 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 yes.
So it's inspiring stories about the rules we live by and how to confidently say, "I rule my life."
Mm,
And so it's actually a series. This is the first book in the series, and so there will be more. There will be more coming, and so from the book, you'll notice that the word rule
yeah,
is a very distinct and scriptive
beautiful.
lettering. And so one day I was at a conference in California and I was brainstorming. This is where that inspired thought comes back
Hmm.
into play. Oh, not brainstorming, but I was just thinking of how to monetize the brand because the book hadn't come out yet.
Okay.
And so I was at this conference and there was a t-shirt. And the t-shirt said, "I love my life."
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
all good. And so just looking at that t-shirt, "I love my life." The word love was very scriptive, like my rule is. And
Hmm.
so that inspired thought came to me,
Mm,
Deshawn, and it
mm.
was like, "Tiffany, put 'I rule my life' on the t-shirt."
Yes.
And in that moment, at that conference in California with one of my best friends sitting next to me, I'm like, "I rule my life." And
Mm.
that's where that brand came from.
Oh, it's so yummy. It's so I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's where it
Wow.
came from. So I put it on a t-shirt.
Yes. Yes. That
I
is
I
awesome.
put it on the t-shirt. I put it on a hat, and this is embroidered.
Ooh, I
I don't know if
love
you can
it.
tell, but that's embroidered.
See, I gotta
And
get
then
my okay. I've been slipping over here. I got to get my products from you now. Okay, okay.
And then this is my
Oh,
favorite. This is a 15 15 ounce mug that says, "I rule." I rule my life. And this is my favorite mug.
That
And
is
people tell me
so
outside
cute.
of the t-shirt, like, Tiffany, this is the best mug that I have. I use this mug every single day.
Okay,
And so
okay.
those are my products that I have to go along with that. With so what rule do you live by? And I rule my life.
Oh my goodness. Though, I mean, I'm just over, I keep telling, this is why this is the Yummy Cafe. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Listen, your unlimited magnificence from that inception moment. Look at what has happened and what is happening, right? Oh, I love it. So, okay, I'm going to, if you want to get in contact with our dear, dear Tiffany, right? Tiffany Jones. Her Facebook is at I Rule My Life 100.
Mm-hmm.
Her Instagram is I Rule My Life _.
Yes,
Her email is Tiffany at IRuleMyLife.com.
absolutely.
And Tiffany, this is the website. Is this where they can get those products that we just saw, those fabulous products?
The products and the book as well. Yes.
Okay, so write down this website. www.irulemylife.com. I
Yes.
want you to
And
go.
for I'm sorry, Deshaun, but for
No, no.
your listeners, I also have a promo code for 15% off. Just in the promo code when checking out, put in RULE15, so rule 15, RULE15, and they will receive 15% off of the order.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you just spoiling us. Yes, I love it. Wait, say that again for the people in the back, Tiffany. One
Yeah,
more
so
time.
promo code upon checking out RULE15 rule 15 for 15% off your entire order.
Oh my goodness. And I'm going to make sure I put that in when we end. I'm going to go and put that into the platforms where we were
Yes.
live so that
Yes.
people can see that. I love that. Listen, thank you for having that promo. That is phenomenal.
You're
You know what?
welcome. Thank
I'm
you.
going jumping on. I'm getting my products. I love every single one of those. They are so adorable.
Thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
my
I
goodness.
yeah, and it's going to it's I'm working on I've been working on it. Just some of those hurdles that we talk about, but
Yes.
there's an expansion that will come along with this very sometime this year. I won't put a date on it, but sometime this year, to where I'm expanding the I Rule My Life to our passions and our
Mm,
interests. And
mm.
so like a few of them will be: I rule my life with gratitude, I rule my life with
Yes.
love, I rule
Yes.
my life with travel, my own personal favorites, I rule my life with prayer, I rule my life with God. Some of those interests that are near and dear to us, expressing how we rule our lives with the interests and the passions of our lives,
I love it.
and just having it be expressive in that way.
When that happens, you coming right back onto the Yummy Cafe so we can continue this beautiful conversation, this empowering conversation. I'm not letting you get away from this platform or from me and from the women. Tiffany, it has just been such an honor to sit here with you and have this awesome breakthrough conversation with you. You are simply amazing. I've already said that to you. I've been saying that to you. I love your brand. I love what you're doing. And it's just such an inspiration to women, all women, to know that once we began to get intentional about creating the rule, right? The pillars of strength, the
Mhm.
structure, then we realize that we're really designing our life the way that we would like to manifest it.
We absolutely are. We absolutely are. Those rules to live by, they're important. And we aren't creating rules so that we can have this robotic life.
Mm.
We're creating rules because they become the standards
Oh,
of
my
how we
goodness.
live our life. And I when we have those rules to live by, when we create them for ourselves, then we save ourselves the grief of
Mm.
having made poor choices.
Yes.
If we're always making the wrong choice in dating men,
Oh,
create a rule to live by, to where you're now choosing someone that's going to be supportive of your life. If you are not diligent in your finances, create a rule of to live by that will keep you on the path that you desire to be on. So wherever it is that we need that little bit more discipline or
Yes.
structure, if you will, in our lives, create a rule to live by, stand firm on that, and allow it to be the foundation that you stand upon, and we will save ourselves the grief of having made poor choices.
Okay, that was just look. I was just almost doing like this, like just tell me, help me. I love that. I do because you said it with such clarity. I love that. I'm going to use that in my coaching when there's a barrier for clients, including myself. What is the rule that I am living by around this challenge, around
Yes.
this
Yes.
breakdown, right? Around the very thing that I need to conquer.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
like the way you put. I like that. I've never even. Well, that's why this is your brand. This is why this is what you do. I'm like, I never thought of it that. That's why this is what you do. Okay. Oh my goodness. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you, and we want to just give her another round of applause for being
Oh,
here with
thank
us.
you. Thank
Oh
you.
yes, and shining her light on us today and allowing us to see that it is about your rules that you live by in your life. It is so that you can continue to manifest what you want and be just that much more disciplined in the things that
Absolutely.
you need in your life. And
Absolutely.
we are so grateful to this conversation. We keep it going. She's coming back. Listen, when she has the next series out, don't worry about it. She's going to be right here. If she's not too busy traveling, speaking around the world, right? We're going to bring her right back here. If she would have us, I would love to have you, Tiffany. I'm so
Absolutely.
delighted.
Absolutely.
Thank you. This
You
was
know,
phenomenal.
well, look,
Phenomenal.
well, let me throw this in as well. There is a course that'll be launching later on this year that accompanies the book.
Okay.
And it simply it walks you through why the rules are important, which we just talked about, and then how to create those rules to live by in certain areas of your life. So there's a course that is done, it's complete, and so it'll
Nice.
it'll be launching sometime this year as well. So
Oh my
that'll
goodness.
be upcoming.
That is awesome. Thank you for, yeah, let us know everything, everything. This was just so good. I love it when we have the nuggets to take away, the diamonds for our destiny. We have what we need for our next level in our life, right? So listen, Tiffany gave you all a whole action plan. She just broke it down. She said if there is a problem or an issue or something you need to manage in your space, in your life, create that rule to live by around that particular, subject matter for you or the very thing that you need to conquer, and allow that to be what is the healthy boundary that you're creating, your reminder, right? And if you're just hopping on and as you're saying, what did they talk about? Watch the replay. And
Yeah.
if you have any questions, comments, if you want to make sure you know how to continue to stay in contact with Tiffany, I put everything there, but put hashtag replay and I will make certain to answer every single one of your questions and comments. And until next time, as I'm always saying, I miss you already. And I want to make certain that you know you are to live life magnified. I want you to always do that. And we will see you on the other side of magnificence. Until then, mwah, smooches, as I always say, and deuces. Anything, Tiffany, you want to say in signing off?
Jess, thank you so very much, Deshaun. I had so much fun. I absolutely love platforms of broadcasting radio. Just is always so much fun. So I just absolutely am honored and thrilled that you asked me to come on.
I'm
Thank you very much. I so enjoyed it.
Thank you for being the wonderful guest that you were. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you and have a rest of your great week and weekend.
Thanks. Bye.